Alright, you guys, welcome to day 2. I'm so excited you guys are here. You made it through day 1. So we are on lift 1, and the first exercise is the high pull. Now remember, our first lift is always our power lift. So we're trying to be explosive and fast. So I want you to focus on always in lift 1, that first heavy barbell exercise, move the weight as fast as you possibly can. So that's the key here with the high pull. Number 1, you're going to get tight before you even start. So your hands are about shoulder width apart right here. And then you're going to tighten up before you even lift the bar off. And then as you explode up into the air, stay tight. Get into triple extension. So it's pull. So triple extension is hip, knee, ankle. That's what we're always working on with this first lift. So triple extension, shrug up just like that high power shrug. But instead of doing the shrug, then we're going to pull ourselves under. We're progressing into a clean. This is super good for working on that explosive hip extension, jumping, anything on the field, and it's progressing into just being able to flip our arms over and clean, which we will do tomorrow. So be looking forward to that. But that is the high pull for you. Again, tighten up, move it fast, and get into triple extension. Next up, we got our vertical jump. So this is again utilizing contrast training where we just did a really heavy compound movement, and we're going to transfer that into a bodyweight explosive movement because your muscle cells have what's called post-activation potential. So after you just activated them with a heavy exercise, they're now ready to fire and be explosive in a bodyweight exercise. So the vertical jump, what you're going to do is you're going to bring your arms and hips down kind of into a quarter squat, and then with the arms and the legs together, you're going to fully extend, jump as high as you can. So it's going to look like this. And then land. That's practicing absorbing the force. Land, reset. Go up again. Land, reset. 4 reps, as fast as you possibly can, be explosive. This is really going to transfer over to the sports field. Next up, we got our mobility portion of lift 1, and it's called the Spiderman Mobility. Now, you won't be climbing up walls, but I promise you it'll be good. So, Spiderman Mobility, you're going to be in a big lunge position like this. What you're going to do is you're going to push your hip forward at the same time that you reach overhead with the arm of the knee that's in front. You're really going to feel that in your hip flexor. It's going to open that up so you can get into hip extension. So you're going to go like this, open up, then drive that elbow down as far as you can towards the ground. You'll feel that right in the glutes and hamstrings. So go back and forth, back and forth. Here, I'll show you from the side. And this is super good for opening up the hips and just making sure that you can stay mobile on the field. So that is Spiderman Mobility for you. Okay, you guys, we are on to lift 2, our strength lift. So this is going to be focused on big compound movements that are going to help you get stronger so you can play better on the field. So the first exercise is a deadlift. Now the first thing I want you to do, find a nice comfortable stance, probably about shoulder width that you feel like you're going to be powerful in. Then again, place those hands a little bit wider than shoulder width. Tighten everything up just like on that high pull. Keep everything tight, even, so tighten up the back and the legs and the low back before you even lift the bar off the ground. It's going to help prevent injury. And your mind-muscle connection here, which we always like to focus on, is for the glutes, hamstrings, and your entire back. It's going to let it your whole back. So focus on squeezing those all as you come to the top. Now what you're going to do here, I tighten up, get tight, and then I lift, I explode, squeeze the glutes and the hamstrings. Now, one of the things a lot of people do, at the top, they'll either not fully get into extension, they'll be like this, or they'll get into hyper extension, right? We don't want to be either of those things. We just want to be right, straight up, good, fully extension, not hyperextension. Squeeze those glutes. So one more time, looks like this. Tight. Explode up. Squeeze the glutes. Boom. Just like that. That's deadlift for you. Okay, you guys, next up is external rotation. So this is what I call a prehab movement. So next up we got bench press after these, and it's going to prep your back so that you're going to be safe. Oftentimes people will tear their rotator cuff on the bench press. This is going to make sure that rotator cuff is activated, keep it safe. So what you're going to do here, keep that elbow super tight. You're going to step out so there's a little tension on the band, and then you're just going to externally rotate like this. Make sure you don't let that elbow stray away from your side. Keep it tight, just like this. Really focus on that mind-muscle connection to the rotator cuff. It's in the back of the shoulder. Go really slow and controlled. This is a burner, trust me. But again, it's going to prep you for bench press, so that is external rotations. Alright, you guys, so now we are on to the bench press. This should be right after you just completed your external rotations. You're prepped and ready to go. Couple things to focus on for the bench press. Your mind-muscle connection here to the chest, to the front of the shoulders, and the triceps. So focus on squeezing those as you go. Another thing I want to note is the tempo. So for all these strength exercises, whether it's bench, deadlift, squat, any of those, focus on controlling it on the way down and then exploding as fast as you possibly can as you're pressing. Because if you really control it and you move a lot of weight but you're going really slow, that's not very athletic, right? It's not going to transfer over to the field very well. So focus on moving that weight fast. A couple things for the bench: get a comfortable grip. I like to go thumbs from this little scratchy part, thumbs out wider, and that's kind of a good width for me, but you can kind of decide what's comfortable for you. Just make sure your arms are even. And then the other thing is, it's a full body movement, so you should keep your glutes tight, core tight, upper back tight as you press. That way you're not leaking energy and you'll be way more strong. So you're gonna jump back here. Again, I use my thumbs. I go to the inside of this, the little scratchy part where it's kind of got the serrated edges or whatever. Put my thumbs there, and then that's how wide I like to go. I take it off, I tighten my glutes, my core, my upper back. I bring it down to the bottom of my chest, right? So it's kind of a J arch, and then I press more overhead. You're not coming straight up and down. Come down and forward to the bottom of your chest, and then explode up. So it's boom, explode up. And that is the bench press for you. Okay, so we are on to lift 3, and remember that's our hypertrophy and accessory lift, a little more high rep, focusing on building that size that we want as athletes. And if you notice here, you can see us in the mirror, so big thanks to my dad for recording here. Shout out to Dad. But what we got up next is the pull-ups, right? So that's our first exercise of lift 3. For mind muscle connection here, you're gonna be focusing on your lats right on the side here, and then the mid-back in this area, okay? So, couple of cues first. For pull-ups, that's palms forward. This is chin-ups. This is pull-ups. And your arms are going to be a little bit wider than shoulder width. That's going to be optimal for activating those lats. And then the other thing is, I want you guys to focus on, don't pull up with your shoulders internally rotated and elevated like this. Focus on bringing those shoulder blades back and down, and then driving those elbows. So I'll show you here. If I jump up, what I want to do is pull my shoulder blades back and down like this, and then pull up just like that. And then the tempo in the tempo pull-ups means you go slow on the way down. So it's gonna be just like this. Explode up, 4 seconds on the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Explode up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the tempo is to build optimal muscle. Muscle is torn apart during the eccentric portion of the movement, and when you tear down those muscle fibers, that's when they're built back up stronger. So that's why we're doing that tempo. It's a burner and it sucks, but it'll get you huge. So that is tempo pull-ups for you. Our next exercise is lateral and front raises. So what you're gonna do here, grab a pair of dumbbells. What you're gonna do, you're gonna be focusing on that lateral head of the deltoid and then the front, the anterior head of the deltoid. What you're gonna do, keep those palms facing the ground as you raise them out to the side for that lateral raise. And then you're gonna keep the thumbs to the sky as you go up for the front raise. Okay, so it's gonna be here, lateral raise, front raise, and just go side to side just like that, nice, slow, and controlled. I really want you to focus on not allowing your shoulder to get into internal rotation, because that's when we get impingement issues that can cause injury, which is really what we don't want. And so if anything, focus on externally rotating, almost pointing your palms forward if you're gonna err on the side of one or the other. Externally rotate up this way. It's gonna help keep your shoulders safe. But yeah, it's gonna help build those boulder shoulders, get those 3D delts for you. Really work on those front and lateral deltoids. So that is the front and lateral raises for you. All right, you guys, so lift 4, we are on to our corrective lift. Now what we're gonna be doing here is reverse hyperextension. You're just gonna need a bench. Ideally, you would use a box. We don't have one here, but you can make use of a bench. You can use a couch if you're at your house, whatever you've got. Now this is gonna be super good because we're working on our mind muscle connection here, is the glutes and the hamstrings. So we're working a lot on hip extension and forcing our hips to activate those glutes before we activate the lower back, okay? Because oftentimes our glutes are weak and that causes pain in our lower back, causes us to be inefficient as athletes. And so it's gonna help us a lot to have those glutes activated and have our mind be able to say, okay, I'm gonna activate the glutes before the lower back. So this is how you're gonna perform it. You're gonna be right here. You're gonna hold on to the bench or box or whatever you got here. Should be hopefully a little higher than this because that'd be more helpful. Now what you're gonna do here is focus on initiating with the glutes. Lift up, squeeze, feel it in your glutes, come down slow. Lift up, squeeze, lift the glutes, come down slow. Squeeze, come down slow. Now this exercise is way harder than it looks, trust me. You guys are gonna feel it in your glutes. It's gonna be super helpful for you guys on the field. All right, you guys, so now that we're into lift 4, the focus is core and then corrective exercises. So these face pulls are one of our corrective exercises. It helps correct that rounded shoulder posture. And the more efficient and neutral your posture can be as an athlete, the more efficient you're gonna be on the field, right? So correcting your posture is directly gonna correlate to how much force you can produce and how healthy you are as well. It's gonna prevent injury. So with the face pulls, these are super beneficial for fixing that shoulder posture. What you're gonna do here, try to get your thumbs behind you, all right? So you're gonna drive your elbows to the side, literally pull it to your face, and then think about letting your hands beat your elbows, drive them out, pinch those shoulder blades back and down. Your mind-muscle connection here is focusing on that rotator cuff again, the rear delts, and then the lower traps. Now, I want you to focus on thinking of this as 10 sets of 1 instead of like 1 set of 10, okay? Each rep has to be meticulously performed in the correct way because this is more about quality of your reps over the quantity, okay? So it's gotta be a quality rep. Hold that repetition, squeeze it at the top, come back, nice and slow. Squeeze, come back, right? So 10 sets of 1. This is super, super good. Really focus on that mind-muscle connection. It's gonna help correct that posture, make you a more efficient athlete on the field, and that is the face pull. Okay, you guys, it's that time of the lift again. 6-pack time, right? Time for the abs. So, the first exercise is gonna be leg circles. Now what you're gonna do here, your legs are gonna be out completely straight. You're just gonna make big circles like this. Imagine like you have like a foam roller and you're trying to get your legs over it at the top, right? So I want you to focus on, keep your hip flexors out of it as much as you possibly can. Lift by lifting up your pelvis, squeezing those lower abs. It's really gonna work those lower abs as well as those obliques since we're doing circles. So do those each way. Next up, for just working on the obliques, we're gonna do side plank lifts. So you're gonna be in your lateral plank here, come up, squeeze those glutes forward, engage them. You're gonna feel it in the back of your glutes and in the side. Dip down, lift up just like this, squeeze it at the top. You're really gonna feel that engage those obliques, get those V-cut abs. It's gonna help you be really stable as an athlete on the field. Our last exercise here, it's gonna be roll-up crunches. Hat's coming off. Got the locks going. So, we got roll-up crunches. Our hands are gonna be on our quads. What we're gonna do here, tuck our chin. We don't wanna be straining like this. Tuck the chin, and then simply lift, roll up, and get our hands as far as we can up to the top of the knees. Come back down. And remember, when we're doing all these exercises, remember to keep breathing. Exhale as you press or as you contract, and inhale as you're coming down, right? It's gonna keep you safe, gonna make sure you're getting oxygen, you kinda need it to live. But that is the workout for you guys. I hope you enjoyed day 2 as much as day 1, if that's even possible. And I will see you guys back here for day 3 soon. Have a good one.